trainers in general have a hard time figuring out how to go out, make money. And we're not making it about money, but let's be
Sure.
honest here. At the end of the day, you're doing a job to make money, and that's just what
You
we're
got to
here
pay
to
your
do.
bills. You got to pay your bills.
Exactly. Welcome back to Beyond the Pump, where we talk about the business of fitness and nutrition. And today we are going to break down the 3 steps that we would suggest you do in order to get paid today. So, what's up, Andrew? How you doing today, bud?
Yeah, this is a very daunting task to do this in a time constrained way.
Daunting task.
So I'm a little anxious right now, actually.
Well, it's good, the anxious and the anxiety,
Yes.
actually, because I think trainers in general have a hard time figuring out how to go out, make money. And we're not making it about money, but let's be
Sure.
honest here. At the end of the day, you're doing a job to make money, and that's just what
You
we're
got to
here
pay your
do.
bills. You got to pay your bills.
Exactly. So, the 3 steps, and then we'll kind of break it down from there. Step number 1 is understand your ICP, your ideal client persona. Who is it that you want to help, that you can help, that you're good at helping, that you communicate with? Like, that is the person, right? Step 2 is, once you know who they are, find out where they're hanging out and be able to have some conversations with them so you can build those relationships. And then step 3 is going to be make them ultimately an irresistible offer that is irresistible and that they're going to say yes to in order to then get you paid.
Yeah.
Super simple when you say it that way, but there's a lot of context behind it.
Yeah. Well, and not necessarily in that order either, right? And so when we think about, well, and this is where we see a lot of people run into this issue. They'll create something they think people want. And there's a whole saying, if you build it, they will come. Not so these days anymore. And so when people start with building an offer, here's what I'm going to do for you. And they don't back it into, and that offer is not based upon the pre-work, which would be know who you want to talk to, know what medium or where to find them, right? Because when you're pitching or you're offering something via Zoom or a webinar versus doing it in person, one-to-one, one-to-many, there's a lot of different things that'll change how you would effectively take the offer and present it. And so I think that, it's you can start in a lot of different places, but I think there is some pre-work and some legwork that you're going to have to do to make sure that your offer is irresistible, because we've all scrolled past ads that we're like, this is kind of annoying. And we've also all bought stuff from the TikTok shop that turned out to actually be pretty decent. So TikTok will take a piece of that. Now, but I mean, yeah, Steve, so you mentioned the 3-parter here, like the 3 items that people should consider when they're trying to make money today. And I guess which of those do you want to expand on first? Because you could go either way.
So first and foremost, we have an entire blueprint laid out that we actually take 3 to 4 hours to go over all of this stuff in depth and add detail. Like,
Yeah.
know that the next 15 minutes isn't going to be every single thing.
Yeah.
But understand it is the tip of the iceberg, right? Just for context here. Because I don't think anybody wants to listen to us banter on YouTube for 4 straight hours. So if you do,
so lucky.
smash that like button, because we'll do it. But anyways, thing number 1, I'll go in order, is understanding your ICP and ICAs, your ideal client. Like, a lot of words that people can throw around, whatever. But at the end of the day, who is the person that you want to serve and you can serve? Like, we want to understand that.
Yeah.
It's not just how old they are and what problem we solve, but also what does their life look like? What, call it geographically and demographically, is going on in their world? Are they somebody who can and should be paying $100 a month for services or $1,000 a month for services? All of those things matter. If they are an extremely busy mom with 5 kids running around, everything else in between, what are they doing for themselves? Are they doing anything for themselves? Just understanding all those components becomes super important. Are they a high-powered executive in a $100 billion a year company, or are they a self-proclaimed CEO in their $80,000 a year company? Those things all matter. Oh, don't get me on the tangent about CEOs.
No.
Oh, I just
Stay focused.
Oh.
Stay focused.
But so that's the first big thing. And without the detail per se, what I'll tell you is a great brainstorming partner on this is going to be any of the AI platforms out there. We do have a chat prompt guide that we have available in the blueprint that you can go ahead and get access to if you wanted. But for purposes of this and the generalization, That is big step number one. Use chat to start to answer those questions.
Yeah. Oh, I would also add that if you are someone that's like considering coaching and you have no idea who you would even be well equipped to serve, I would probably just be as detailed as possible about your own experiences and where you've started, because that is a fast track way to success if you've had success. And if you haven't, frankly, I think the first step for you actually might be to go hire a coach. And that's going to be a little bit lengthy, but that's faster than reading a book and trying to work your way through that. So go find someone to mimic, or, literally diagram out the person that you were when you were starting to get interested in health and fitness, because that's the person you're probably trying to help navigate those couple initial things, and list out all the things that they were struggling with, all the frustrations they had, all the obstacles they had, and then just kind of create your thing around that. And I would say that that'd be a really easy first step. If you don't know how to define your ideal client, your ICP, then I would say probably what I would suggest.
Yeah, and once you have that generalized kind of idea of who it is, the next thing that I would say that you do, and here's, again, part of the prompting, and again, this is in a guide, understanding that person at great detail becomes the challenge. Because now what we need to do is, all right, where do they hang out and what offer are they going to say yes to? So the next thing you're going to do, which is a continuation of understanding them, is going to be, can you write a journal around or giving the top 3 issues that this person is facing, and have AI write that for you, and it'll give you, here's my top issue, here's my top issue, here's my top issue. I want to lose weight, I this, I that, whatever the things might be. Then let's go deep and ask it to write a separate journal entry deeper on each one of the top 3 items that they're facing. And now you're going to start to understand kind of in detail, in depth, the words that they use, the true problems, the reason why their problems exist, what's kind of going on. And, when you talk about the whole idea of explaining what you do versus actually the outcomes you create, and like all the work you're going to have to do to solve your problem versus painting this dream picture. You told me the story about the one guy who wrote up his pricing offers, and it was just like, here's all the things.
Yeah.
And, I think we called him like, I don't know, Tom, whatever, but it was just this whole, that sounds daunting. But instead, what we want to understand is, all right, what problem do you have? What problem can I solve? Problem do you have? What problem can I solve?
Yeah.
Go down that road and start to understand it. Now we have your like ICP package and everything like that. Now what we can do is go from step 1, and I'm going to actually jump here, go to step 3, because you want to have your offer crafted so that way when you're in person doing step 2, you now can actually make the offer to them, right? So slightly out of sequence with intention here. But Andrew, you have a really good story. I forget the weird name we gave him, but briefly show for anybody that hasn't, like, tell quickly like what that person put up on their like price sheet, their price menu.
Man. Yeah, so this was I was doing some mentoring for a trainer, and he was really excited. He was like, yeah, I had this sheet that's going to make my sales process so much easier. And, and I'm not a business person by any means. I tend to be more process oriented, and I just happen to do it well enough that, I've built several businesses around it. And so from this perspective, I'm just looking at his sheet, and it's a 1-pager. And he has a couple different options. He's like, for $3,000, you can meet with me 16 times a month. That's going to get you 1 Pilates session. That's going to get you 2 training sessions. It's going to get you 1 nutrition coaching session every week. And then he had like a couple different ones that were downsell options. And the bottom one was like, this is the baseline. It's like $460 or something like that. And this is going to get you a weekly PT session, a personal training session. And so I'm sitting there looking at it, and it's not visually appealing very. Like, imagine personal trainer, not a graphic designer, Canva template, so that's rough on the eyes. But I'm sitting there thinking, and all I can see is that, you mean I'm going to give you $3,000, putting myself in the consumer shoes, I'm going to give you $3,000, and then I have to do these things? I have to meet with you I have to carve out 4 hours, which probably actually is going to be closer to 8 hours, 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to get cleaned up, whatever else. I got to give you 8 hours a week. I got to give you $3,000. And what am I going to get for that? And so this individual had a little bit of the process wrong. And if you haven't watched the problem awareness episodes. We have those. They're way early. Definitely helpful for you to understand what we're getting at here. But presents a sheet. He's telling them these are the things that you're going to have to do, and you're going to give money. They're all loss options to the client. I got to give you time. I got to give you money. And now I also have to hurt. Like, that sounds terrible. Right. And we can continuously draw the parallels between these and the unpleasant circumstances around exercise activity, giving up your social circle. I have to stop drinking alcohol. Like, all the things that people would have to give up versus potentially turning around and saying, like, hey, for $3,000 a month, we're going to get you ready with that revenge body for the upcoming wedding in 4 months. And you're going to feel great. And your ex is going to absolutely hate seeing you there because they're going to try to fall in love and ghost you all over again. Like, there's just a different way of portraying that or getting something that's the same thing, but just packaging it in a way that's more appealing because it speaks to what people want, not what they would have to give up.
Yeah, and you always have to remember, people will infer what they want to infer when the details around the offer are not clear.
Yeah.
Great example. Friend of ours, he's like, hey, I need help automating my business. And I'm like, hey, I got a software that can help you automate your business. Totally great. And I even said in that moment, free. Easy, get you set up. Hanging it, fast forward a week and a half, and we're hanging out. He's like, yeah, I don't want to spend money on the software. Now, I remember saying it was free, but all he heard during the thing of I can solve your problem, he's like, shit, I got to spend money to have my problem solved. Even though that, so it's one of those situations where I never said he had to spend money. It's completely for free.
Yep.
I have the leverage and the ability to do that, but it was like, oh, I can't do that because it's going to cost money.
Yeah.
If you leave those open-ended things for people, they will fill in the gap. We're human. We generally fill it in on the negative rather than the positive. So thinking through that side of things, like, your offer has to cover what that person truly wants. Now, me in sales mode would cover all those components. Me in very, like, direct solve problem Steve mode, I'm not here to sell shit. I'm just here. Here's your solution. I got your problem covered. Right. But anyways, little divergence from where we're going. So creating the offer. There are keys to a good offer. Again, in the blueprint, detail it out. Whole hour spent on building an irresistible offer. But at the end of the day, it really needs to come down to somebody feeling value. Like, how many times have you gone somewhere and it's like, oh, the thing's on sale. And like, all right, yeah, I'm getting a deal. I'll do that. Like, how do you get people to feel like they're getting a deal with all of the stuff that they're getting? How do you give them bonuses and like all this stuff to stack it to make sure it makes sense? Now, there's ways, there's structure, there's things you should do intelligently around this. But to your point, it's not give me $5,000 and then we're going to be in pain for the next 51-hour sessions that we have. It's no, give me this money and I'm going to solve problem A and problem B and problem C with you. And down that road, people start to get certainty based upon how you've described it, that this is the solution to my problem.
Yeah, well, and to highlight that as well, like, when you think about the average person that takes on a diet, they will regain half of their body weight in 2 years, which is a slow death because, like, you lose 10 pounds, you gain 5 in 2 years. Great. But then in 5 years after they finish and kind of gone through that process, they will have regained their entire body weight back that they lost plus interest. And so there's clearly something here that isn't just working. And so when we talk about figuring out on your own and creating crafting a sustainable way for people to do that stuff, like, those are inherently the valuable pieces of education that matter, because if you can't articulate that, you're basically sitting across from this person and saying, give me your money, I'm going to give you work, more pain in the ass things to do. And they're like, well, why would I do that? And if you don't know the consequences of the current behavior set, your offer is not going to be very compelling.
Yeah.
So just find the need and then, dig into that a little bit. And I think that makes a good starting point.
So now we know the who. We have an offer that they are highly likely to say yes to. All that's left is to actually go out and find them where they're hanging out and then present the offer and get them to say yes, right? So the reason I bring up of the idea of like a high-powered CEO, let's say of a $100 billion company, chances are he's not necessarily scrolling Instagram all day long, just that type of person. You have a mom of 5, well, there's a higher likelihood that 9 a.m. post-school drop-off in mornings that person might be like, I need to just decompress after my morning and just do some scrolling. Who might be in a Facebook group, who's best for being on an email list, who's best for being at a networking event. I'm only going to find certain types of business owners at fitness networking events. So understanding that stuff becomes important of where that type of person is. Let's say you're a content social media podcast person. Well, you're probably not going to go hang out with all of the moms that are busy hanging out in the pool drinking on Friday night at 10 p.m. to try to find a client. But rather you want to go down the road of, all right, well, what are these people doing? Well, they're probably busy doing some editing and whatever. Well, what are they editing for? They're probably busy doing some stuff on some platforms. Okay, great. Well, what time are they doing this? Well, they're probably doing it, because the creatives are people who stay up till 10:30 at night, and everything there or 11 o'clock or later, although it's way past my bedtime. So what might be a good time to send out an email and hit them, hey, do you want a system that's going to actually help streamline all of your operational processes so you can spend way more time doing the editing, which is more fun for your business and creates more money? And if they hit that email at 10:30 at night when they're currently hating having to send out invoices and recaps of meetings and all this shit, guess what? They're probably like, yeah, I'm willing to do that. But again, sending it to them at 6 a.m, I don't know, is that person awake at 6 a.m? Might not hit the same. So understanding those things of where your people are, when they're going to be there, start to become important.
Yeah. Well, and that's easier to reverse engineer if you even understand who you're talking to in the first place. Obviously, marketing initiatives and how you present things drastically different for moms than teenage kids. And it's interesting because we know that there are evolutionarily biological fundamental motives as to why people do things. As people get older, like they stop caring about finding a mate as much. And so then they start moving into mate retention. And so like that just changes some of the dating paradigm, just to use these as an idea. But we are marketing to people that care about social status, people that are climbing the corporate ladder, people that are at the top of the corporate ladder. Like that's why this is so important for people to truly take the time to identify and then troubleshoot through experience of like, I like these people, I tried this thing, it didn't work. Let me either try it better, do it better, or let me go ahead and just retool and completely scrap it and try something new. But I cannot highlight enough and reiterate that this is such an important process. And if you nail it, like you will be significantly better at predicting your business growth and what your monthly revenue will be, because you'll be able to reliably go find these clients, create an offer, and then you'll have an idea like, I need to talk to 10 people to get 5 to be interested, to get 2 people to show up, to close 1 person. So now you just go talk to 10 people every day and you're going to get 1 new client every day roughly. So that's how we would encourage you to make a client today, probably 3-4 hours if you did that whole thing. If you need a blueprint, we have one. Or it's I think you can take any number of ways to go do that, but I think just putting a bow on it makes sense.
There's your 3-step process. Let's not overcomplicate it again. But this is 20 minutes delivering you the high-level overview of the things you can and should be doing in order to solve this problem. There is way more depth we can go into, and we do go into that stuff elsewhere. But
so deep.
For this, just make sure you really focus on those 3 things. Any AI platform is going to be helpful, and that's going to help solve a problem. But otherwise, appreciate you joining in today where we break down the business of fitness and nutrition here at Beyond the Pump. If you like the episode or got some value out of it, hit that like button, share it with somebody who might need to hear this, subscribe so you can see the next episode. And if you want us to chat about a specific topic, throw a comment down below so we can see it. But until next time, gang, we'll see you later.
Just the tip.